Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our reaction and review for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 3. Let's just say this right off the rip. Is Aerion Targaryen the worst? Like, this guy is very, very high up on the list of the that guy sucks-a-meter, which we are just coining at this very moment in time.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen some pretty bad baddies in the Game of Thrones
Yes.
universe, like Ramsay Bolton, like Joffrey, but we've only seen a very limited screen time so far of this character, and he's definitely ranking really high very quickly.
Yeah, and this show is kind of sort of a comedy. Do you know how hard it is to be this likable in a show that also makes you laugh? Like, that's a really, really hard thing to do.
And it was very shocking to me in a lot of ways to see a character this mean on this show. And it shouldn't be, because we've watched Game of Thrones, we cover House of the Dragon here. We haven't read any of the books,
Mhm.
but we've been in the Game of Thrones universe for years. So we have seen, like I said, the Joffreys, the Ramsays,
Yeah.
all of it across the board. But because this show has been set up in such a way that there is an endearing, wholesome type quality to this, where this show is kind of a reminder that there are good people in this
Yes.
universe as well. Not everybody is Joffrey. And then you bring in this guy. I'm like, oh no, I just wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it at all. I mean, I do not like him whatsoever, but his scenes are compelling. But beyond just that, his awfulness really helps to give us more context on Egg and the big reveal that happens there. We'll get a lot more into that. I also just want to say the actor who plays Aerion, who is Finn Bennett, I had this inkling in my head that I knew who he was when I was watching. I looked this up just a few minutes ago. He was the younger cop on True Detective Night Country, one of my favorite shows from a couple of years ago. He just doesn't even look
So
like the
good.
same person at all.
No, he reminds me a lot of Johnny Lee Miller from Train Spotting when I first saw him, like right up on the horse. I was like, very similar, but I mean, Johnny Lee Miller's pretty old now.
It's a really interesting character, cool performance, but we have so much to talk to. In between this guy,
Mhm.
Egg, who Egg really is, the truth
Yeah.
is now out, what this means. Before we get more into it, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We will be here throughout A Night of the Seven Kingdoms with reviews, all sorts of good stuff, sharing theories, so much more. Also, if you guys have HBO, we're covering The Pit Season 2 right now, moving forward. Euphoria is coming in April. We have House of the Dragon this summer. And then later this year, Dune Prophecy is coming back. Really big year, both on HBO and here at the channel.
Yeah, we are going to be covering all of these shows, so be sure to hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
And if you want to help support us further, you can join our memberships here at the channel. Right now, we are covering Hijack Season 2. It's been a really exciting season so far.
Yeah.
And you can check out those videos there. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined our memberships.
Thank you guys. We very, very much appreciate that. All right, let's just lift the Scooby-Doo mask here for a moment because, oh, Egg, you are actually a Targaryen, as Jess has been saying for the entirety of this season.
Yeah, like I said, we haven't read the books,
Mhm.
but the show made it feel fairly obvious
Yeah.
that there was something that was going on with him. He's a really young kid with a shaved head. It felt like he was hiding something, and we all know that the Targaryens have this very like silvery hair. If you've got silvery hair, you're going to need to hide that.
Yeah.
We know that, a Targaryen's sons are missing. I'm like, okay. And on top of it, this guy is like shaving his head.
Yeah.
He's very well read. Okay. So then maybe he is someone who's like, a lord's kid or whoever that has had this type of education. It just felt like something was going on.
They did this reveal so well
They
in my
did.
mind. I think they did a great job of planting all these seeds in the first couple of episodes so that, as a non-reader, you could still really pick up on it.
Yeah.
And then I started to get more on board over time. And like one of the things that really sold me in this episode was the fact that he was being such a picky eater, where it's sort of like if you grew up in really dire straits, you will eat whatever is thrown in front of you. You don't know what the next meal is going to be.
Yeah, and his name is Egg, and I mean everybody's named Egg on So, I mean, like, what are the chances?
I think what made the reveal ultimately work here is that if you have a reveal that a lot of people know is coming,
Mhm.
whether you are a book reader or just you've been able to pick up on the evidence, you have to find another way to make it satisfying. And I think
Yes.
how it worked on this show that was so interesting is that Dunk is just going about his business. He's doing all of his typical things, training, preparing, talking to people,
Yep.
but he completely misses all of this and he finds out in the blink of an eye, right in the midst of everything that's going on at this point with Aerion. And it's so stunning. He's probably sitting back now and being like, what does it say about me as a prosperous knight that I can't figure out that this person who has been my squire was a Targaryen? Like, am I really this oblivious to the world around me?
Yeah, and I'm sure at this point he's, laying back here on the ground in all kinds of other terror because not only does he have, Egg, who's a Targaryen, is like, stop, sort of in the name of my father, you can't do this. I'm saying so. And he's saving Dunk's life. But at the same time, I'm sure Dunk is sitting back being like, okay, so I think I'm in trouble here. I have now hit this one guy where his tooth is loose. And now I've been riding around with this missing son where they may think that I've, what, like taken him?
Yeah.
Like they may think that I'm trying to ransom him, like what I've done to him. Like if I was Dunk, I'd be pretty concerned about what is happening to me at this point.
Yeah, there's already been talk of stolen horses. Just go ahead and take
Right.
another one and just, gallop right out of Ashford at this point because yeah, this is really really bad. Like the other thing that's kind of crossing my head now is all right, now that he is known to be working with Aegon, it's not like this is going to be quiet. This confrontation's
Right.
happening in a really public place. So everyone who is a part of the tournament, if Dunk continues, is going to know that, oh, he's been associating with the Targaryen. That is going to
Right.
put so much more of a target on his back, where it's going to be, oh, you have an opportunity to take down this person who is affiliated with the Targaryens. Everyone then looks at you differently, which can be very bad. It can be really intimidating. And this is Dunk, who comes from very modest means, and he just seems like he's a guy with the best of intentions. He's going to be pulled in all directions now. Like, how does he handle that?
Well, and Arion, I mean, we saw him in the tournament, and I mean, he is, oh man, is he nasty.
I hate him.
He is so nasty in such a short amount of time. I mean, he's like breaking this girl's fingers over a puppet show.
Yeah.
What he did at the tournament with his lance through the horse, like he is definitely someone who is going to play dirty and play nasty. And I'm sure at this point, he's definitely going to be challenging Dunk.
Yeah, and this is where these comparisons to a Joffrey, to a Ramsay Bolton really come in. And I
Right.
think the greater George R. R. Martin world is very good about this idea that we have so many characters. Even a show like this is throwing so many different people at us all at one time that you only have a limited amount of time to make us hate you. And I think just the horse scene alone, even if you take out all the other terrible things that this guy has done,
Mhm.
it's immediate. Oh, I really don't like this guy. But then we kind of have to sit back and learn more about, oh, why do we not like this guy? And I think that was a big part of the Ramsay Bolton story where we learn a little bit about how he was shunned so that the moment that he gets like that small element of power, he's very quick to try to exploit it for whatever he can. And then you have Joffrey, who's brought up in this privilege, and he's
Mhm.
just looking for just something to get a reaction. And it turns out that that thing he does is really, really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it really does feel like this character is a mix of those two because
Mhm.
Ramsey was more psychological in a lot of this, and so is this character.
Yeah.
But Joffrey was a lot more just straight into the violence of it all, and so is this character. He feels like he is the worst of both of them.
Yeah, and all of this then informs the character of Veg really, really effectively because,
Yeah.
we've had this question of if you are a real Targaryen, like, why are you trying to get away from your family? And beyond all that, why are you choosing Dunk of all people who has no, noble blood or any sort of benefit to you whatsoever?
Yeah, and I think Egg's reaction where his brother's kind of like, well, why are you doing, like, what happened to your hair? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? His just reaction of, well, I don't want to look like you. I don't want anything to do with you. I mean, what has this guy been doing to Egg, my
Yeah.
Egg, who I absolutely love? So this actor, I've never seen him before.
Mhm.
He is incredible. His comedic timing is eating up the screen time. I absolutely love him.
Yeah, even just the part of the start of this episode where he is on his own and we see him doing
Yes.
a little bit of the horse training and a little bit of the preparation. I mean, yeah, not only is Dexter as an actor like so committed to this, but Egg the character, this is I think why he was able to sort of convince Dunk and pull the wool in
Mhm,
over his eyes that this is not really a Targaryen despite all this evidence is just
mhm.
because he seems really really committed to
Yes.
I want to be a great squire. I want to do what I can to get myself out of here. Where if you're Dunk, you're probably just so appreciative of the help, of the attempts, even a couple of times where Egg wasn't doing exactly what it was Dunk wanted. It was because, oh, yeah, Dunk, by the way, you can't actually go and enter the list today. I'm sorry, it's a little bit too
Yeah,
early, but he's just done such a good job that Dunk had no real reason to suspect him.
absolutely.
Like they played all of that part of this episode, I think, really, really well. But now the problem becomes if you're Egg, all right, your family knows where you are at this point. There's no hiding it. You are still a kid. I don't really think you have that much say in. Are we going here, tinfoil hat, like we said, haven't read
Mhm.
the books, where Egg is going to be taken back by his family. He's going to be forced to deal, unfortunately, with Aerion, with his other brothers. Is Dunk then going to have to find a way to then rescue him? And is that
Yeah,
possible?
I'm really curious to know how these two are going to be sort of reconnected or stay connected in some sort of way. I mean, I haven't seen Game of Thrones in a minute,
Yeah.
guys. I am 50 years old. My memory is what it is. I'm an old lady memory here. But some of you have been really great to sort of give that remembrance of, oh, in Game of Thrones, and so is mentioned Egg and Dunk or this or that. So it seems like they do find a way back to each other or to be able to stay together. Right now, I'm at the point of like, well, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Aegon is so young and he like just disappeared out of his family. Now that they know that he's back, they're not gonna just let you want to be a squire? Like
Yeah.
you are a Targaryen. That's absolutely not a thing that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So how does it end up happening? How do they end up staying together?
It's a really fun corner that the writing has put everybody in at this point, just because of that fact that he can go and be carted away somewhere else. And even for Dunk at this point,
Mhm.
what incentive do the Targaryens have to let him continue to do the tournament now that he has gotten into an altercation with one of their own? Unless it's a situation where Aerion himself comes out and is like, I want to fight this guy.
A
Let us.
1000%. It feels like that's where it has to be going, where he didn't get to have,
Yeah.
any sort of revenge on his loose tooth. And
Yeah.
he's going to allow him to still be in the tournament because he's going to challenge him and just think that he can deal with him. But how does Egg get to stay as part of any of this?
No, I think it's a really fun thing that the show is going to have to spend some time trying to get into and really examine the other part of what makes this show fun, but also makes it a little bit confusing at times.
Hmm.
We don't really know who we're supposed to be following long term and who we're not. Like,
Right.
obviously, we have Dunk and we have Egg, but within these 3 episodes, we've formed, or at least I've formed, this connection with Tansel, this character, who I
Mhm.
think is pretty interesting. We don't really get to see the entertainer in Westeros all that much. And she has really helped Dunk and she's working to get this shield together. But yeah, what happens there with Aerion is really, really bad. Another reminder that he's terrible, but just in the midst of all this, is he just going to have something else horrible done to? Is she just going to be gone and we're not meant to see her again? But I kind of want her to be around Dunk. They got some chemistry going on.
They do have some chemistry, but I really wish they had taken more time with her because we've barely gotten to know her. She seems like a nice enough person,
Yeah.
but like I don't know anything about her except that she's a puppeteer and she seems nice enough, but that's about it. And I do wish that there had been more time. This show is only 6
Yeah.
episodes. We are at the halfway point. It is kind of miserable that this show is so short because there are characters like her that I feel needed more time.
Well, this brings us to a very interesting debate, and oh boy, the comments are going to be fun with it. But we're going to have this debate anyway, which is it a bad thing if a show tries to stay too close to the books? Now, as we said at the
Oh,
start, we have not read the source
oh my
material,
god, I
but
have my hard
okay, yeah,
hat
you
on.
have you come farm. I will go and hire the armorer to give me
Bruh.
some armor for this because George has praised this show time and time again in interviews with how faithful it's been to the source material. And I
Mhm.
understand it's his prerogative to feel that way. And it's great that they're really trying to pay homage to the books, but it feels like one of the failings of doing that is exactly what you've mentioned. Like the Duncan Egg stories, they're novellas, they're not very long. And so, by virtue of that, yeah, we're going to have a short season of 6 episodes, and these episodes are really short. We have seen multiple comments in our first 2 reviews talking about how this is a flaw with the show that the episodes are too short.
Too short.
I'm not saying it needs to be hour long. It doesn't need to be Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, but 40 minutes, 45 minutes? Is there a way to give some people more time? Like, we do get to know Tanzel a little bit better. We do get to spend a little bit more time with your guy, Lionel Baratheon, whose entire role in this episode seemed to just be not having on a shirt. I don't know what else he really contributed.
Okay, I agree. I have my hard hat
All
on for the
right.
comments as well. I feel like if you're going to adapt a book into a
Yeah.
show, that it is okay to take some kind of creative liberties with the book for television, whether
Mhm.
they're going to change it for the better or for the worse, that you're going to have a little bit of creative differences so that you're not just watching a book. Like you
Yeah.
can go read the book. You don't need the TV show then. It shouldn't be word for word of a book, I don't think.
Mhm.
I want to see something a little bit different
Yeah.
than what I'm reading. I haven't read this book, but there are other shows I've read the books for and then saw the shows like, oh, they did this a little differently. This works better here, or this doesn't work better here. And with this, because they are shorter books and stuff like that, you can have a chance to dive a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah, and this is where a little bit of my tinfoil hat fear comes in with all of this. It's that they don't want to spend a lot of time investing in a character like Tansel because either she's going to be locked away or killed off or something else like that. That because this show is lighthearted, they don't want to let us down that much. And that just feels on some level like they're playing games with my feelings and I've not sort of grown up enough to be able to handle the fact that they're going to take somebody that I care about and then take them from me when at the same time we were all here for Game of Thrones and House of
Yep.
the Dragon. They remove characters left and right, often
Hmm.
in the most brutal of ways. I don't think it's a bad thing that they can spend a little bit more time to let us get invested in some of these people so that, yeah, if something does happen, we are a little bit sad about it and we do wonder a little bit more what if.
Absolutely.
I just think in general, this show is really, really good. And the
Yep.
beefs that we have with it, they're more related to the structure than what we're actually getting. Like this episode, it leaves off in a great place just because we don't know what's going to happen with Dunk or Egg yet. And Dunk is a very superficial guy. We don't get to dig deep into how does he feel that he was, quote unquote, taken advantage of or tricked.
Well, and yeah, because I don't know where Aegon is on the line of all the
Mhm.
different brothers and sisters and everybody who's, missing and not missing in
Yeah.
this family or whatever. Does his word trump what his brother is saying? Like, how does it end up actually playing out? How much pull does he really have? He has enough pull to stop Dunk from being killed right there, but does he have enough pull to stop it altogether? Because Dunk has been traveling around with a missing Targaryen. And, is it Egg's word enough over what they might think that maybe Dunk took him or something like that? I truly believe that it's just going to be Aerion that's going to come in and challenge him. This is just, I feel like the only way that Dunk is going to be able to get out of this, and that if he's able to win, then great.
Here's the last thing I have to dive into with this episode, and this is the prophecy that has been foretold
Hmm.
to Egg, which is basically that you're going to be king. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to die a terrible death. Now,
And everyone's gonna hate you. It's like, how could anybody hate
I know he's
you?
so precious, but okay, here's the thing though about this world. We know, I mean, especially from the whole Daemon storyline on House of the Dragon,
Right.
that prophetic people do exist in the Game of Thrones world. There
Hmm.
is magic and
Yep.
sorcery.
Yes.
How much does all of this take root in someone like Egg, who is well learned and has probably read a lot of history books? Because there is this school of thought now that if he legitimately believes this prophecy of, okay, someday I'm going to be king, maybe he will kind of act with some more irrational confidence when it comes to making sure Dunk is okay, making sure he is able to rise up the line of succession. Like, does this give him a level of recklessness or arrogance that he wouldn't have before? Or is it sort of the flip side of this where he's being told he wants to be king? He doesn't want that. And so now is he just going to be like, I'm going to try even
Mhm.
harder to avoid this fate moving forward?
Well, that's the interesting thing about it in this universe, as well
Mhm.
as just kind of in the world and going and get readings or whatever. How much of it then feeds into yourself? Like, she definitely got some things right
Yeah.
on. She was like, you're going to be king. Well, that's a possibility. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a Targaryen. So that is a possibility. I don't know if he becomes king or not, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
It would be, if she had said something like that to Dunk, I'd be like, Is that a possibility? I don't think that it is,
Yeah.
but okay, sure. I feel like maybe you're off on that. But then it's kind of like, well, how much of it then is it that she is saying it's going to happen because it's going to happen? Or now how much of it is in Egg's head so that it starts going down that path?
Here's just what I feel about this sort of stuff in general, and that is that I don't necessarily believe in fate, but I do believe in karma. And I feel like Dunk and Egg,
Yes.
they're putting a lot of attempted good karma out into the universe right now, where it seems like they're trying to be good people. Dunk's trying to be a good knight. Whether this leads to Egg being king or not down the road, I don't know, but I want to believe, even in this very, very cynical world, that good karma will come back and repay the two of them.
It really hurt to hear that people are going to end up hating him, because then I was just sitting back wondering, what is it that he could possibly do that would make people hate him? What kind of a person does he then turn into? What happens to him to turn him in such a way that he ends up doing terrible things? This is going to be such a weird comparison, but to anybody out there that watched Power and everything that happened with Jukebox, where in the early days of her childhood, she was such a like delight and had such a tragic thing happen to her that, throughout the story of raising Kanan, when by the time you get to actual Power One and you see that she's this horrible person, it's like, what happened to you, Jukebox? What happened to you?
It's such a course of life. I did not expect the jukebox comparison, but it's totally,
God, I love that character. She is so good.
yeah, it's a totally accurate thing. It's just, so much is dictated by the people you're around and how you end up having to react to that environment. And this is why, Egg, if I had any power whatsoever, if George R. Martin would let me, I would take that rope that Lionel claimed as his own for tug of war. I would pull you away from the rest of your family
Yes.
because I feel like you would then be okay.
Yes.
But that is where we are coming out of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 3. What do you think is coming after this big revelation? Share in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and you can support us further by joining our memberships.
Mhm.
We are covering right now their Hijack
Yep.
exclusively, and we also have the Pit Season 1 there. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. We'll see you here next time.